Welcome back. Hold that thought. Okay, thank you all again for joining us. You can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, let the record show that all board members are present. We have just here 5 minutes ago. All right, we do have a couple of announcements. The first one I just want to mention, at our last planning session, which was really, I don't know if we had much of a public attendance, we did approve the WIDA contract agreement for 2023-24 through 2026-27 school year. So I would like to just highlight some of the highlights, if you will. It is a 4-year agreement, which increases each year based upon the allowable tax levy growth. This is their salaries, I'm sorry. It's a 4-year agreement with increases each year based upon the allowable levy growth factor with a minimum of 1% and a maximum of 2%. In year 3 of the contract, step 21 will be unfrozen, and an additional step at 2% will be added to the end of the schedule. In year 4, step 20 will be unfrozen, and an additional step at 2% will be added to the end of the schedule. Pre-K teachers will now be paid off the regular teacher salary schedule. They were previously 75% of the regular teacher salary. All coaching and extracurricular stipends will be increased by 2% each year of the contract. Teacher contributions towards health insurance will increase to 19% with a 0.5 increase in year 1 and a 0.5 increase in year 2. And there will now be 3 superintendent's conference days in total, 2 at the beginning of the year and 1 in November. Okay, another on the agenda, we have discussion for student delegates. I know Dr. Romanelli, if I could start with that one.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Tussi. So I know that one thing that the Board of Education have been speaking about was involvement of students in some of our board meetings. And we did a survey and spoke to other districts just about anybody who is involving students in Board of Education meetings. Some are and some aren't. Really one of the best models that we saw suggested was having students from different student leadership groups that we have at the high school come and be actually placed on the agenda as a student report to the board. Students would come up to the podium, would give a report about what's going on for the students, and there would be a discussion available with the board and the students at that time. We'd usually schedule it at the beginning of a meeting so that if students have homework or any other obligations, we're welcome to stay for the meeting. We can take off if they needed to. And if that is agreeable with the board, we can start to put that on agendas coming up when the school year begins.
I think it's 100% a great idea. Did anyone? Good? Okay. Great. We'll talk about it. Okay. I know that we do have the public notice of our education, finance committee, building and ground committees. I know there was some discussion that the board would like to have. For the last several years, we've had those committee meetings on one night. Last year, there was a change where we moved the building and grounds committee meeting to unite the planning session. There was some thought about putting all 3 back to the same night, but I know there was some, I don't know if I want to use the word reservations, but some thoughts about keeping them separated. I don't know if anyone has anything they want to share about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the reasons that we discussed doing that originally was that, there is a lot that goes on in the buildings and grounds, and we didn't want to kind of take away from the education committee and the finance committee. So separating it gave us a chance to focus on the building and grounds, which usually has a really big agenda, and we want to make sure we focus on education at the education committee and, finance as well. So that was the reason we did it. I think it worked well. So,
Yeah, I agree with Mr. McCann, but of course I'll go with whatever the board wants to do on that one. So I agree with Mr. McCann.
Oh,
Fine.
okay,
If the rest of the board wants to keep it this way, then yes.
Yeah, so we can prepare an alternate proposal for board committee meetings and take a look at them. Just one thing to note here, these were typically our committee meetings started at 7 o'clock. These were moved to 6:30, so slightly earlier. And one of the motivators to set it up in this way was that we really do also want to schedule a number of policy committee meetings this year. We have a lot of policy to review throughout the district, and we'd like to somehow put, whether it becomes 6:30 on committee nights, whether it becomes its own night, whether it becomes before planning sessions or board meetings, we do need to find a slot for a number of those meetings this year, because we do have a lot of policy that does need to be updated, so.
Or can we keep the 6:30 start, move the buildings and grounds to planning, and then just 6:30 for take a lot of extra time.
So if we have if we can even include policy on
Yeah.
this night, but move buildings and grounds to the board nights.
Yeah.
That's your proposal? Great, and policy would really be as needed, so we have some times where we had policy meetings, other times we didn't.
At this time, I'd like to invite anyone from the public who would wish to speak on an agenda item. Okay, can I have a motion, please, of approval needed to approve the minutes of the June 20th, 2023 planning session?
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Before we move into personnel, I do want to acknowledge Mr. Jim Cameron, who is officially here for the first time with us tonight. We're very excited to have him join our team. I know Dr. Romanelli is as well. He comes extremely highly recommended, and it's just really going to be benefit beyond the words to the district. So welcome officially. And on that note, I would like to turn the personnel portion of the agenda over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey, and I appreciate the kind words. Really looking forward to working with the entire West Islip Lions community, so thank you. I would like to request a motion for the approval of item T1, the probationary appointments of Brandon Cohen, psychologist, effective September 1st, Danielle Sadusky, special education, effective September 1st, Amanda Maglione, special education, effective September 1st, Ashley Caldone, effective elementary, effective September 1st, Danielle Corcione, elementary, effective September 1st, Sarah Pollock, effective elementary, effective September 1st, Tara Campbell, elementary, effective September 1st, Kristen Bergen, elementary, effective September 1st, Paige Gillespie, elementary, effective September 1st, and Molly Healy, elementary, effective September 1st.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Do we have any of these fine young educators who want to stand up?
Yes, let's welcome to Brandon, Amanda, Kristen, and Paige.
Congratulations. Well, actually, first, let me say, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
I'd also like to make a motion for T2 to TA1.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to request a motion for the approval of item CL1, probationary appointment for Justine Gonzalez, part-time food service worker, effective August 31st. Ashley Nieves, part-time food service worker, effective August 31st. Anne Marie Pecorella, part-time food service worker, effective August 31st. Donna Vassatoro, part-time food service worker, effective August 31st.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Anybody here? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to request a motion for the approval of CL2, the resignation of cafeteria aide Jessica Chirpita.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to request a motion for CL3, recognizing the retirements of Susan DiGregoli, cafeteria aide and bus matron, who has given nearly 16 years to the community and students and families of West Islip, and Ralph T. Fabrizio, head custodian, for over 23 years of service to the community of West Islip.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Just like to give a public congratulations on their retirement. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'd like to request a motion for the approval of the remaining items as listed in your personnel schedule.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Phone
Mr.
from the-
Tussle.
You're welcome. Is that phone from the audience or is that somebody else? Nobody really heard that. All right, where are we? Okay, we have the report of the board committees, so item A. Oh, personally. I'm on summer mode right now, so I apologize. All right, curriculum update, Mrs. Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. I would just like to start off by congratulating and welcoming our new hirees. We are very, very fortunate to have a talented group of professionals joining us here in the district. So congratulations. We certainly look forward to working with all of you. Just a few updates. Summer school at the high school is up and running. We have approximately 98 students taking part in both courses and review classes. Our summer investigation programs for students in grades 1 through 5, entering grades 1 through 5, is up and running. We have approximately 140 students attending the program. I visited today. We had students engaged in foundations, Ready to Rise, and various math activities, all looking to continue to progress students along in grade level skills. So really great things going on in both places. The district recently received the high school AP and IB results from the June exams. The data will be reviewed and a report will be given at a future meeting. The review of the data will also be utilized to inform our instruction for the coming school year. And just some planning underway. New teacher orientation will be taking place at the end of August. We spent some time welcoming the new teachers to the district, going over the new technology, going over curriculum instruction, special ed, all of that kind of good stuff. So that will be happening, and we are also underway with planning for superintendent's conference days, which are going to be June 1st and June 5th. Thank you, Mr. Tussey.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Morrison. You might have noticed a little conversation here.
Mr. Tussey, if I can say something.
Oh, please.
I was up at Baloo the last 2 days for another reason, and the energy and enthusiasm of the students going into summer investigation is impressive. So thanks for bringing that program to life.
Okay, we don't have any update regarding item A here on the report of board committees. There was no formal meeting, so there will be no update regarding item A. As far as item B of the policy committee, you can see we do have a reading for several policies, which are really just an annual review. This gets done every year. So we have policy number 5412 regarding the purchasing procedures, policy number 5421 for procurement of goods and services, policy number 5610 insurance, policy number 5623 the use of school-owned materials and equipment, policy number 5683 the district-wide safety committee, policy number 6150 alcohol, drugs, and other substances for school personnel, and then policy number 7320 alcohol, drugs, and other substances regarding students. And we have our second reading for the code of conduct. Okay. All right, Dr. Romanelli is just going to quickly go over any of the changes made to the code of conduct.
Yeah, and with that, on the code of conduct, I know it's a second reading, and we've got some updates. Any thought of having like a parent academy on the code of conduct or an educational session with the parents? I think that would be a benefit for everyone.
Yes, we could absolutely do that. We actually do have some updates on our dissemination of the code of conduct included in the new highlights. So just really quickly, I have about 6 or 7 bullets here. Some newly added definitions appear in the code of conduct. For example, the term restorative discipline is used in the code but hadn't previously been defined and is now defined in there. We previously had an elementary, middle school, and high school code of conduct, but it's now been compiled into a K through 12 code of conduct, so that we have one code for the entire district. We've also removed the if you do this, then you get that type of language. We're shifting to a more individualized approach, and when there's a situation that happens, really looking at the whole child, whether the student has maybe special needs, whether there's some issues going on at home, things like that, and taking a look at that before determining the next best course of action. We've updated the range of penalties for infractions, and really looked at a list of ways we have a philosophy in the district that we really have a progressive approach to discipline, and that we take a look at initial infractions and then kind of move down the ladder a little bit and trying to support the students in the whole process. We've also updated some specific violations to include things like remote learning situations, electronic devices, synthetic marijuana, etc. And updates to the dissemination of the code of conduct. As we mentioned, we can add in also a piece for parents about definitely educating people on the code of conduct and any of the changes that we've made as well. It will, of course, be posted on our website and will be distributed to students and also talked about in opening assemblies during the school year.
And I think that goes a long way, because as a parent, trying to understand what it is, I think we can then educate our own children and the children.
Yeah, it's agreed. Absolutely. And we also included the DASA form that's needed to file any sort of DASA complaint. Not previously been in the code of conduct, but is now in there and easy to find for people that need to take a look at that. We also, I just want to say that, we met with our administrative team to take a look at this for a number of different meetings. We met with our legal team, Bowles and Bigliotta, to take a look at we're in compliance in different areas and also what the best practices were legally. Ms. Morris and I went and had a discussion with the high school staff and faculty meeting. We sent out the code to the entire district, all staff, to look for feedback, and came up with what we have here.
So it's definitely a good collaborative effort.
For sure.
It's good to hear. Okay, business items, Ms. Bellotti?
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. May I have a motion for the approval of budget transfers 4308 through 4314 in the general fund?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the tax anticipation resolution regarding the authorization of the issuance of not to exceed $25 million tax anticipation notes in anticipation of the receipt of taxes levied or to be levied for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024?
So,
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the requests for proposal as listed on the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the contracts as listed on the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of surplus items as listed on the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, please, of approval of the RSA Reason Co. LLP 2023-24 engagement letter?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion of approval of a resolution regarding section 103-A of the Public Offices of Law authorizing the West Isaac Board of Education to authorize the use of video conferencing to conduct its public meetings?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion, please, of approval of the Eastern Suffolk BOCES Shared Service Request 2023-2024 school year?
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Dr. Romanelli.
thank you, Mr. Tussey. I just want to say, the reorganization meeting and our first board meeting of the year is an exciting time just because we're preparing for the upcoming 2023-24 school year. Last year was an excellent year. We're very busy right now completing the hiring process, have everyone in place for the start start of school. We're very happy to have our new Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, Mr. Cameron, here with us. He's been busy, as you can see already. Congratulations to our new hires in the audience. I know I've mentioned a few times, but we're really happy to have you on board. In addition, just some updates for a number of questions that I get. I'll always kind of report during my time at the board meetings. The Board of Ed decided at our last meeting we would be pursuing armed guards in the school district for the upcoming school year. And we put out the posting for school resource officers in the district. We'll be completing the hiring process this month so that we will be looking to have armed guards in place for the start of the school year. In addition to this, our buildings and grounds team is working hard to get our buildings ready. There are construction projects across the district that you'll see if you're driving to the different buildings. That's a great time to get them done, obviously, and well, we don't have many students in the buildings. We're also happy to report we're on track to have our air conditioning in all of our classrooms by September for the start of the school year, which is very exciting, and we're really looking forward to that as well. We've had some great conversations taking place over the summer, and everything from cell phones in school to weighting of grades and things like that. So we've really been taking the time to meet as an administrative team and talk about, those discussions and then how we can collaborate with students, parents, and staff throughout the school year to have those conversations and make any necessary changes where we need to. I'm also, on a personal note, very just thankful to the board for allowing me to attend. I'm going to be attending the Global Leadership Conference in Berlin. I'm leaving for that on Thursday, and it's a collaboration of students, leaders in the educational field and other fields, of just really great minds, great thinkers, and I'm excited to hear from the students that'll be in attendance and also the other leaders across the world internationally, and just to bring some ideas back to the district, and I'll happy to give a report on that at our August meeting as well. And really, I just have to say, we are all extremely optimistic that 2023-24 is going to be our best year yet, and just really looking forward to all that the future has to hold. So, thanks.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so. Oh, I did.
I was answering.
I'm going to the Global Leadership Conference in Berlin. I'm leaving Thursday.
So it was a beautiful day at the beach. I was there all day. The water was perfect.
Best thing is, I wasn't going to mention it the trip at all, and then Mr. Tussey said, "You should speak about your conference you have coming up."
On that. I got a note from Mrs. Brown just to double check on the department committees. There was no approval of any modifications of the IGs, right? It was just a potential discussion.
Correct.
So no. All right, Dr. Romanelli, we are very excited for you to embark on this adventure, and the board specifically coming from, led by the McCann family, we got you a couple of things for you, so we hope you enjoy
That
it.
is amazing.
We wish you luck and so on.
Do it later? Okay. You never know. Public meeting. All right, so we have some chocolate. We have a frame. This is not me. This is the one that came with the frame. But I'll take some for some good memories and just a bunch of different snacks and things like that for the plane. And my wife will be happy about this one. A toothbrush. Thank you.
There is a razor.
Oh, a razor. We have a razor.
So I don't know if you want to come back different looking, but.
Wait me when we land. And some earplugs. And then this may be a hint to razors. I don't know. Looking me to shave the beard. We'll see. Some shaving cream and snacks and sunscreen. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I can't believe I asked you that once.
It's great. Definitely will. Thank you.
All right, where are we? Okay, I have no notice reminders. We have no cards, correct? Okay, I thank everybody for attending tonight. Have a motion, please, to adjourn to executive session where the board will discuss personnel negotiations and litigation.
So, second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Good night, everybody. See you in August.